Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Fairview's coffee has mysteriously gone missing. Mayhem ensues when strange, coffee-craving zombies plague the city. Detective Mickey Potatoes, an overworked public servant, uncovers why ordinary citizens are losing their minds and how to stop the coffee apocalypse. But it involves the mafia. And when you're dealing with mafia crime families, nothing is ever easy. The mafia controls everything in the city, including the police, including him. If he breaks the mafia, they will break him. So, the city is without coffee. The city is burning before his very eyes, but he's powerless. Detective Potatoes has the power to stop the coffee apocalypse, but if he does, he could lose everything.
First world, come in and take a seat. Pay us no attention, it's all conspiracy. We have satire and parody, some funny, some perverse. If none of it's offensive to you, you'd be the first.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's All Good. My name's Doc, and this is Paul. We are here today, minus Amy, of course. She will be back with us next week. Paul, how are you doing this afternoon or this evening?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on. I was kind of nervous I wasn't going to have anybody on with us tonight.
I know that all too well myself.
How about you go ahead and introduce yourself, if in case anybody watching doesn't know who you are.
Yes, my name's Paul Gomez. I'm a relatively new writer and creator of comics. I put out 4 comics in my first year, which was this past one: PTSD, Bushibu Circus Mysteries, Cryptic Haze, and also the second issue of Bushibu Circus Mysteries. Here we are with my 5th book, Prelude to Aurora.
Prelude to Aurora. That sounds very cryptic, we'll say. So what is Prelude to Aurora? What are we preluding? Who is Aurora?
Well, and that's one of the things that you actually got to buy the book to find out.
Oh,
It is a little cryptic and it's a little bit mysterious. I like doing that in some of my comics, and especially with this one, because I wanted an action-packed comic, something that I haven't really done. I've done a little bit of action, but this one has so much more. And I had to drop a little bit of suspense in there, and that's the reason there's that question of, who is Aurora? Is she good? Is she bad? What's going on? And you have gargoyles and you have demons in this world, and you don't know exactly who's left and who's right. And it starts to form this world and dives deep into it and pulls you in a very unique and strange way, if you will.
interesting.
Yeah.
So we've got demons and gargoyles.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you see these creatures, supernatural all the time, but how often do you see them fighting each other? And I thought that was something that was a kind of a missed opportunity.
I've
Uh,
always loved gargoyles.
right?
They're part of the supernatural or the what do we call it? The superstitious culture that gets overlooked very easily. But so they even took the time to put them in the Denver airport. Come on,
Yeah.
they still got importance. Have
And
you
think
seen the
of it.
gargoyle from the Denver airport? Come to think of it.
Yeah. And think of it like I was telling people, it's like, if you mention gargoyles, everyone has a reaction, but you don't really see that many movies or shows. I mean, of course, Disney's gargoyles.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean,
Everybody loves that one.
other than that, you don't really see that much with them, used with
No,
them.
I
And
say there is one out there. I don't remember. It's the guy that played Punisher from the early
yeah.
2000s. I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, he had a gargoyle one. But that's about the only other one I can think of.
And I'm like, why is that? Because everybody seems to have a knee-jerk reaction whenever you say gargoyles.
Yeah,
It's like, well, if nobody else is doing it, I'm going to.
it's the horror's it's the horror genre's redheaded stepchild. They
Yeah.
hide it over there in the corner and nobody talks about it. Just look pretty.
Yeah. And like I said, it it's so familiar with everybody. Everybody seems to enjoy talking about it and the experience when you bring it up. So I wanted to do something with it. And originally, whenever I started thinking of the story, because I was writing it really for my artist, and he liked the demon supernatural stuff, and I was like, what can I do with demons that's new? And
Hasn't been done before and hasn't been beaten until it stops spitting out money.
and
Hmm.
so I introduced the mixed gargoyles, put them both together, and a little bit of mystery and a little bit of left and right fake out, and Prelude to Aurora got brought on board.
Oh, so Prelude to Aurora is going to go ahead and play the Kansas City Shuffle and look over here while they go ahead and do a little peppered. Yeah,
Yeah, so
nice little dash and grab. Now, can you give us anything about the gargoyles and uh, is w- when you say gargoyles, what do they throw stones at people, or do they
yeah,
actually jump off of the wall and come at them, or do they even have the feet, or are they attached? At what point do they separate? Anyways, lots of
yeah,
questions,
yeah.
mainly about the gargoyles.
Yeah, I haven't exactly jumped into the if they have to feed or if they're throwing stone feces at people. Not just yet, but it really is about the family that's kind of caught in between, and a little bit of the mystery of you know what what would you do if you woke up without remembering any of your past, but you knew to yourself you're trying to kill yourself to protect something.
Hmm.
And what would you be willing to kill yourself for? Are you protecting like a friend, a family member? Are you protecting the world and you're willing to give up your life for that? See, this is what we jump into on that first page, and it's like we ask this mysterious question, and we go about it in a different, unique way. Because again, whenever you're making a comic, you don't want to make the same old boring story. So I wanted to introduce gargoyles and demons, but I wanted it to be where you were attached to these characters also. So we start with this very interesting question: what would it take for you to be trying to kill yourself, basically?
Hmm. And that's the human, the protagonist, I'm assuming.
Yeah, exactly. It follows this woman who wakes up basically without any knowledge of her past. She's basically saying, "I know that I'm trying to kill myself, and I don't know why." And literally, the
That's
first
got to be a predicament.
right in the first few pages, she throws herself in front of a bus.
Huh. Well,
And
obviously she's not very good at it, so.
well, and the thing about it is, mysteriously, she's saved, and she's
Hmm.
trying to figure out who saved her, what
So
happened, what's going on,
so maybe she's better than we think she is at it. It's just she's not allowed to. I
and
see
why
what
would
you're
that?
yeah,
Yeah,
I see what you're cooking here. I can
yeah.
smell the smoke.
And
Well,
I'm
that is
telling you,
I love your artist. Who's your
thank
artist?
you. Yes, my artist is Santa Spina, and he's a great artist. He was with me for PTSD and Cryptic Haze, and whenever I hired him for PTSD, I had fell in love with his art. He's so unique, so
Oh, I love
different.
his line work. It's almost got that that grit, hard line feel to it that
Yes.
Sandman made real popular.
Yes. And whenever I was looking for that first artist on that first book, I was looking for a dark grittiness, and his style fit that exactly. And the best thing about him was his storytelling through paneling. And
Oh, artists are, yeah, you get an artist that is able to do that, that's one to keep a hold of.
yeah, I mean, a lot of artists just kind of have the regular paneling, and they can do that unique art. But if you can do something that's a combination of the two, if you look at this one right here, look at the three panels on the
Yeah,
top in the middle, and then how it evolves the story, especially with her cutting or getting her luck cut in that third one.
that
It's
is
just
yeah.
so unique.
The pages interacting with the panels and you overlapping,
Yeah.
that's using the panels in a very powerful way.
Yes.
And I
And
love it when the
he
artist takes their creative control to
yes.
convey the emotion behind the image.
hmm And it really was like an evolutionary thing. Like I said, whenever I first got him on that first book, PTSD, it was great because I could see how he was drawing and stuff. And I was learning how to script, and I felt like I had to have a tight leash on my artist because I didn't want to get that far away. But in that second book, I kind of let go a little bit of the reins because I could see his art and see how he worked. And with this one, I knew where I should challenge him, if you will,
Hmm.
or pull back. And me and him had so many discussions about that. On one page, he was like, "The way you wrote this is so challenging, and I love it." And he was like, "And I'm going to make it so unique as well." And it came out like better than it did in my head, if you will.
Oh, that
And
is awesome.
that's so different and just a breath of fresh air sometimes.
Hey, Canadian Badger, how you doing, bud? Oh, so back to the Prelude to Aurora.
Yes.
Um, I I when I first got into comic books, which, we know that's been all of about, 17 days, um, I didn't actually realize how long and how much it actually took to put together a production or put together a comic
Right.
book, even
Mhm.
in the slightest. So when we talk about your artist, let's not overshadow all the other people that it takes to put into
Right.
this. Now, do you
Exactly.
have an inker, or is your artist and your inker the same person?
My artist, so I got 2 teams with some of my comics. With Bushibu Circus Mysteries, I've got one team who is a great and different type of style than this artist. This artist right here is kind of my first team, and San Espina is like a workhorse. He does the pencils, inks, and colors. And as a matter
Wow.
of fact, he actually did the logo on this one.
Nice.
Yeah,
Now
and
the No,
oh,
now
go
now
ahead.
lettering, does he do the lettering as well?
Yeah. Now with lettering, I have an amazing letterer. His name is McLean McGuire, and he is my letterer on just all of my books. He is not only a letterer, but he's really been a partner and friend of mine throughout the journey that I've gone on.
Oh, that is, yeah. I didn't even realize lettering was a
Oh
thing
yeah.
until, I was putting mine together and I slapped on some bubbles in there and did some little yellow panels and I'm like, "All right, cool, we're done. Let's go ahead and go to the print." And then I started letting people take a look at it and give me their um we'll call it creative critiques. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, yeah. The creative critiques that your friends and family and random people that you are uh, asking for any kind of assistance with.
Yeah.
And you come to find out, yeah, no, there's an entire art
Yeah.
just to the lettering, and that still amazes me. Anybody who's watched my show more than
Yes.
for 10 minutes, I've had to say something about letterers because that just fascinates
Oh,
me
I'm telling you, they're the
with
unsung
the
hero of comics. And whenever I first started getting into comics, I definitely wanted that was a big concern of mine because I am dyslexic and my two twin boys are dyslexic. So whenever we go into reading comics, sometimes it's like, hey, we talk about hey, this one's hard to read, so let's go on to the next one or let's try to figure it out, kind of thing. So when we were designing and building that first one, we found this letterer who was local around here, and his lettering was awesome and amazing, and he was such a great help to us. And being dyslexic, it really kind of catered to what I needed. So I can't.
Now,
So
did they to help compensate for the dyslexia? Did they use like a different font, or was it just the translation onto the page?
well, it's usually the clear types of font. I talked about this to McLean, and he was asking me which kind of fonts were harder to read and which ones were a little bit easier, because that's one of the things I approached him about. And his stuff was clearer than most. And I'm thinking it's a type of font that some people use that make it difficult. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it could be the spacing. Again, there's 100 rules and tricks and stuff whenever it comes to lettering. Trust me, I've gone through like hundreds of YouTube channels just studying this stuff, even though I don't
It's
letter it.
fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I want to know
Oh,
about it
I'm now
because
intimidated by it myself at this
oh
point. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, no, I'm not even
yeah,
going to attempt that.
yeah. How many words per bubble? How you stack the words? The letter
How you
I
stacked the
itself.
bubbles and
Oh
attached
my
it.
god, yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say about I?
Yeah, the way they put it, whether it's an uppercase or a lowercase, I think they hardly ever use it. But all the rules in the letter I, whenever you're doing lettering, there are so many of them. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Interesting, because we're here. Now, just because we mentioned that, and I'm feeling slightly froggy tonight, I'm going to go ahead and let you in on a little bit. I am the creator of a comic book called First World, which is a
yes.
satirical parody of modern culture and histrionics and classic comic style. But um, in my parodies and in my personal writing, what I do personally with even down to any correspondence or poetry or any writing I do, I actually make it a point where I will not capitalize the letter I under any
Right.
circumstance. I don't care if it's the beginning of a sentence. I don't care if it's your name. No, the letter I is never capitalized. So I am fixing to publish my second issue, and there is not a single capital I in any of my issues in
Oh,
any of the text
that's very
bubbles.
unique.
And I've yet to have anybody say anything to me about it. Nobody
Wow.
has caught it yet, except for, of course, my letterer when I made that request to him, and I'm like, okay, I've got a weird one, but just bear with me here. So I explained to him why, and I explained to him my little, yes, long live the death snail, woot woot. um, so I explained to the letterer why and what I was trying to accomplish, and he helped me convey it. And it's one of those, I'm gonna just let it sit there and see how long it goes before it's approached directly to have to address.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but anyways, enough about me. Back to Aurora and why she is preluding to gargoyles and demons and the whatnots.
So yeah, I mean, and again, with my other books, it was always a different target or unique story that I wanted to tell in a different way. With this one, I tell them that this is my Star Wars. Everyone's kind of got their own way they're doing comics, and with my first book, it was a standalone 22-page issue. My second book was 12 issues, 32 pages each. And this one is kind of like my trilogy, if you will. And Prelude to Aurora is the story before the story. It's like the setup. It's like a New Hope, and
You know?
you're going into it like going, what is this prelude about? Where's this story going to lead? And then you're faced with these unique questions again. What would it take for you to want to kill yourself? And you know you have these gargoyles coming in and these demons coming in, and you're trying to figure out who's out to get you and who's trying to save you. And that's where we jump into this mix of madness, if you will.
Yes, the fuckery is afoot. I love your artist interpretation right here. Can you explain
um,
what's going on here in this panel? We've
um,
got some guy that seems a little bit angry at the world because he has sharp, pointy things, so he decides to
yes.
throw them all over the place.
Yes. So again, I really wanted to do some combat stuff because even though I've delved into it in my other books, I really haven't featured it or made it a part of the story as big as it's going to be in this one. And the page right before this, he actually jumps into this alleyway that there's this woman who is getting attacked by what are like 3 or 4 demons, and he's basically starts tossing some throwing knives at him, and it kind of at that very last panel at the bottom, you could see he's running away, pulling her along, and it kind
And it
of,
looks like he won with a big steamy pile of demon smash because
or
he pew
did
pewed
he?
his little knivey things at him and did the thingy thing.
Yeah, I mean, did he? That's the real big thing. And
Hmm.
this
Or
page
did
particularly,
he?
yeah, or did he? This page particularly, like I was saying, I wanted to introduce that fighting in a different, unique way. So
That
whenever
is
I,
really cool the way the action overlays. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm digging it.
yeah. And I had presented it to my artist in that way. I'm like, look, I'm not going to have that many, if any text. This is going to be a double page spread. And to me, whenever you're doing a double page spread, you really have to carry the story along to a different point. And I told him, I'm not going to put any text in there except for maybe some sound effects or whatnot. I want this to feature the action because this is the one of the biggest scenes at the beginning.
I can see a promo panel of it right now. Pew pew pew.
Yeah. and him throwing those throwing knives and hitting all these demons and slicing their head off. It just kind of pulls you, just throws you into that action. At
And it
where it's going.
real good use of the sand colors or the burnt colors. Real
Yeah,
good use of those
yeah.
and
His
transitioning it. Yeah.
his coloring's amazing,
Ah,
amazing. I think
I've got a fan. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. He's got a fan. Yeah. Scratch that.
yeah.
Reverse it. Yeah. We're gonna color it that way. He's got a fan.
No, I'm telling you, his coloring is just beautiful.
Okay. So did he do the cover?
He did do the cut. You know, one of the things I felt bad about it on the previous books is I really didn't have him do the main cover. And now I wanted to, again, this story was made for him. I wanted him to do the main cover. And I told him, do whatever you want. Because
Oh, you gave
usually,
him complete creative control on the cover.
usually I kind of try to draw an outline of saying, this is kind of what I want. This is kind of what I'm looking for. And sometimes I
You
draw it out
visual
for my
people
artist.
just amaze me.
But with this one, I was like, look, draw whatever you desire out for that cover
Yeah,
to
me
be. But
trying to
it's just,
explain this to my artist to try to get something like this as a cover would probably take a 3-day conversation for me to just try to explain the madness that's going on in my head
yes,
while I'm trying to stack that on top of each
yeah.
other. That looks like it's a demon totem pole. Is that what he's
And,
going for him?
and that's exactly what he was going for. And the fact that he puts like the road back there, and I told him, throughout the conversation of making the pages, I was like, the fact that they, I guess,
The
start out in the
crossroads.
road and they meet in the roads kind of thing, and there's a lot of actions in the road. He put that in his cover, and I think that made it pop because you don't really see that many, colors or distinct colors. The
No, and he's
plain red in the
carrying
back.
the burnt colors on with a
Yeah.
real nice use of the grayscale.
And so those roads pop,
No, yeah, yeah, and gives
that's
you
something.
depth and slight context, almost like,
Yeah.
the crossroads of something,
Yeah.
or is it?
Or is it?
Oh, that is absolutely incredible. Now, do you have variants of this one? Yep,
I do
there is
have
the
two.
next one. Now,
Yes.
did he do all the covers or nope, this is
No.
gonna be who did this
Jeff
cover?
Mute. This one's one of my best friends. He's Jeff Mute. He's been my advisor since I started making comics. He's got a definitely unique and great way of doing it. He's done a cover for two of my other books as well, including PTSD, and that was one of my biggest selling covers.
On
I didn't.
PTSD was his cover. Now, did you give him creative control over this, or did you bring him your little sketch pad and be like,
Uh,
"Okay, I want you to go ahead and make this gray little Hulk monster thingy here, bent over, and you don't forget he's got a cape. Make sure you put the cape on him, and then up over his shoulder we need the moon." And or did he like present this to you and like your socks just popped right off and shot across the room?
It's kind of unique whenever we talk about this cover. I want to say that it was maybe 10% on my part and like 90% on his,
Nice. So
because
you
I think
came with a vague idea. I've got an orange. I've got this big gray blob that needs to be on the cover and make it look cool.
but I mean, working with Jeff, he's got a unique way of looking at things as well, and he really had in his art, after he read the script, he was like, "I'm going to do a cover for this." I didn't
That is
ask him.
absolutely amazing. His
Yeah.
detail is incredible. The way he
Yes.
brought the skyline into it, the
So
way he
beautiful.
goes ahead and carries the weather pattern in to give you that chill and that bite of the night. No, he's got a very very good use of color, very good use of line work.
And the
I
rain, the rain was a last minute detail that he threw in there. I
Oh,
had
that
seen his.
definitely adds to it. That
Yeah.
that is
Oh my God.
100% a just a punctuation of an exclamation point. He's definitely signed his work with excellence on this one.
Yeah.
No, that is incredible. I
Beautiful.
just
Yeah.
yeah, I'm in love with people that can do things that I can't. It's a thing. Yeah, that's pretty much anybody with talent, if you're wondering. Um,
No, I
okay.
understand. So my interior artist, if we could just stay on that one just a minute, back up there.
Oh, yep. Let me go back up.
That logo right there, the logo on it for it was actually from my interior artist. This was the first time that he actually kind of threw a logo at me, and I showed it to a few people because I was actually about to go hire someone to make a logo for this book. And he threw this logo out there, and I had so many people that seen it and said, "Hey, that is amazingly beautiful." So we
It's
had to
it's got
keep it.
a simply elegance to it, and then
Yes.
you throw a little bit of the eclectic blood splatter in the background. We will be very pinkies out about it all.
So I mean, it was a great thing, and I tell people about San Espina. He's amazing, pencils, colors, and the greatest thing about him, I haven't even told you the greatest thing yet. A page a day,
What? Colored, inked, and everything?
everything, every.
Wow. So he's
I
all
mean,
so he's not a man, he's a machine
he
in a
is a
man's
machine.
coat
He,
wearing an
he
artist's hat.
we actually nicknamed him the machine because I mean,
Wow.
it is crazy whenever you get someone who does a page every few days, 2 or 3 days. He has been able to throw pages together in a day, and that's kind of his average. And for someone
That
to do that with this
yes, I
amount of talent, I
as a
mean,
creator myself, I can absolutely throw it out there. I actually thought I had a gold mine when I can get a complete line page one a day.
right,
So when I get my factory started and I get all of the artists start working and pulling together the project I've got working on, I can typically expect to see 5 pages per week
right,
from my line artist, and that is something that I thought I was doing incredible on because I was used to waiting 3 and 4 days for a
yeah,
page, and
yeah,
then it needs editing, and
yeah,
no, 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 we've got a schedule to keep. People, come on, schedule,
yeah,
schedule. But yeah, that's
amazing.
amazing. Color and lining.
I mean,
Wow.
his talent,
Does he
yeah.
eat or sleep?
I don't want to disturb his
Do you
essence by
feed him?
asking him.
Does he get fed just with pizza under the door?
You know, I'm thinking he might have it like in his veins or something hooked up while he's working at the same time because it is crazy to think that his talent that he has on those panelings and those ideas that he has.
Yeah,
Look at
no,
his cover page. I
yeah.
mean,
I just a minute in his brain would probably drive half people to drink.
yes, yes,
An incredible artist, and yeah, like I love his use of the hard lines and the yeah
yeah.
grayscale. It's he's definitely turned me into a fan. Okay,
So
so let's go
before we
ahead.
go down to that coming soon is actually going to be the third cover that's coming out by Zach Spivey. He's kind of a
I
new,
I don't think that's going to make a good gargoyle cover. I don't think gargoyles are supposed to have that long a hair,
but
and aren't
but
don't they
he
aren't they not allowed out in the sun?
it
Yeah,
is
no. Whoever
beautiful
designed
long
that
hair.
cover should probably rethink it. No.
But this cover is going to be something unique and different, and something that I presented to him about a year ago after seeing his art for the first time. I had this story idea in my mind, and I was like, it married so well together that I told him I wanted to do a 5 panel gatefold layout of a cover for this book.
Huh.
Something big, grand, and different. Not only is it going to be a 5 pan gatefold layout, it's going to be in grayscale.
Okay, I know what grayscale means, but go ahead and smooth brain. It's like ice skating up there. What is that again? 5 scale pound fish 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
What did
well,
I miss on that?
and it's basically different shades of penciling, if you will. And
Huh.
you can see a picture right here. I'm gonna go ahead and take that down, if you will, and kind of show you. This is Zach's art right here.
Okay, let me go ahead and put this up here. And nope, it needs to be you. Nope, how do I do that? There, that's close enough.
This is
Okay, got
exactly.
it,
This
got
is an
it. That's a
example of
beautiful grayscale.
yeah. So you could see how dark and how light it gets. And his penciling, I fell in love with his penciling and his unique. It wasn't just his unique way he did the grayscale, but it was his line art as well.
Yeah, he's got
And,
great shadowing.
and I said, I'm doing gargoyles and demons. If I could do 5, you know, covers or 5 gatefold that just swung open with this kind of art,
Hmm.
I'm telling you, I have full confidence that that cover is going to be something
That is
amazing
going
to
to be
see.
hot. Yeah, I can
And I've seen
absolutely
some of
see
the
that.
pencils and roughs layouts that he's done already, and he's working on it right now. I just can't wait to show everybody because those three covers are something to talk about. Whether it's Santa Spina's beautiful art, whether it's Jeff Mute's way of thinking and making his version of Gargoyle, or this 5 gatefold cover, it's going to be something beautiful to have on my table.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait. So how long do you think before you can get the display image of it or the
I, you know,
teaser of
he
us?
he told me this week, but I'm not gonna, I'm
Ooh.
not gonna
We're
hold him
not gonna
to
hold him
that.
to it. It's not like we're recording this and gonna
Yeah,
put it on the internet for ever and ever for anybody to see. It's
but
currently April 12th, 2013, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard
mm.
Time.
But his work is amazing as well. And I was shocked whenever I met him. I met him at a con about like a year ago, maybe a little bit more than that. And he had never done a comic cover. And I'm like, your
Hmm.
art is so amazing. I definitely want you to have. Now he's done about three, I think, 3 or 4 just this past 2 months. And I've had him lined up to do this cover. And I'm like, I wanted it to be your first.
I wanted it.
But I'm telling you, it's going to be his best. It really is.
Oh, that's incredible. I can't wait to see that one. That's going to be something you have to hit me up when it comes out so I can jump over and take a look at it. And that's going to be Zach Spivey.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think he needs to pick a different model for his gargoyle character. I don't think that one looks too gargoyle-ish.
Oh, but he's a sexy beast. Come on.
Yes, yes, he might fit the demon scale a little bit better than the
Yeah.
gargoyle scale. So it depends on which side of that coin he's going to land on, huh? Oh, so let's go ahead and jump down into the rewards.
Sure.
Let's see how much and what do you get for it.
So the
Okay.
first 3 rewards are digital rewards. The first one, you're going to get that solo PDF of Prelude to Aurora for $5. The next tier right there is a digital plus, and you're going to get 3 PDFs, including the PTSD, Cryptic Haze, and Prelude to Aurora. All of these are by the interior artist of Sam Spina, which you can see that interior art is amazing. So
Incredible, yes.
definitely. And then if you really want, all of my books, the digital plus is going to be including the 2 issues of Bushibu Circus Mysteries, which again, I can't talk enough about it because even though with this one's so beautiful and amazing with Santa Spina, what my other artists were doing on Bushibu Circus Mysteries, there's a reason I call it my flagship comic.
Mm. Well, we're going to have to go ahead and maybe invite you back on for another go around,
Yeah.
or we can speed run like you know, Gonzalez through this, and if we have any extra time, we can go back around and see what Bougie
Sure.
Boo's up to and
Yeah.
and why that makes it your flagship.
Yeah, definitely.
So the first 3 tiers we've got pretty much is all digital going out, and it's from this one brand or IP that you have, and then a handful of IPs to here, take all of my stuff. You're our fan IP
There
or
you go.
PDFs.
Yeah,
Okay, that's rocking it. And then we're gonna jump down to the physical copies. This is where people get something in their hand, I'm assuming.
yes. And then that first tier right there that you see is Santa Spina's cover art. Again, that's the one that we first saw up there, the beautiful one with
We'll
that
scroll back up
background.
real quick because I like making people sick. Right there,
Yeah,
that's
that's
that
that first
beautiful cover there, that done by the inside artist.
And then and we go down. That second cover is going to be that next tier that you're going to get right there by Jeff Mute.
Yep, that's when you get the little gray blobby gargoyle looking thing,
Yeah, and
right
each
there
of
on the
those you're going to get.
apex.
Each of those you're going to get the PDF, and you're going to get that physical copy be sent to you.
Well, of course, because you don't want to take the physical copy out of the plastic. You leave it
Right.
sealed, that when you're rich
Yeah.
and famous and everything, we can go ahead and sell these off, and we can be rich and famous with you too.
Exactly. Now, each of those are $10 each. So if you get to pick and choose that one, that next tier is going to be that 5 gatefold cover, and that's why it is a
And a
$25 cover.
$25, and
It's
that's going to be the Zach Spivey, which I
five
really
gatefold
think
cover.
he needs to definitely change his model for that gargoyle. It's not a good one. It's not too flattering.
Sexy.
All 3 digital PDF of Prelude to Aurora for $40 with the cover A, cover B, and cover C.
And
So if
cover
you're a high roller, you go ahead and jump it in and say, "Give me all," and you can go
all
ahead and get all of the covers, including the 5
five.
gatefold by Zach Spivey.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, it's going to be a sight to behold. All of these, I mean, both of these the covers that you see right now are beautiful by themselves.
Oh
Adding
yeah,
that
the 2
five
you
gatefold,
already have completed are absolutely
yeah,
gorgeous. Yes, your artist definitely took their time and put a little bit of their heart in with that. Now that first one may have put a little bit of blood in with it, like
right.
with a blood sacrifice to go ahead and crank out a page a day. Are you shitting me? A page a
I'm
day?
telling you, a machine. Yeah, me and my first editor nicknamed him the machine, and it was just crazy. We thought it was a miracle.
Wow, it's yeah.
So
Okay,
this next one is the foil cover of that B cover, that Jeff Mute cover with the gargoyle right
the
there on the
gargoyle
front
on the apex, yeah, and you went ahead, you're printing that in
and
coil,
foil.
in
Yeah,
coil. Yes, we're gonna say coil, foil, boil,
there
toil,
you
and
go.
trouble.
Yeah.
My wicked witch of the west rendition.
But for $55, you're also going to get those 3 covers, the regular covers as well, but the foil of Jeff Mute's cover also. So that's the reason for that price right there. You're going to get that whole bunch.
Wow. Okay, and then metal
And
covers.
a
Now,
metal
metal
cover.
covers are interesting. That's not something I've dealt too terribly much in. What is the difference when it comes to printing and designing the metal covers versus the traditional covers?
Well, it really is the same kind of with the foil. I mean, it does take a little bit longer, and
A
obviously a
lot
little
more
bit harder.
expensive, yeah.
Yeah,
I've looked at the pricing on it, or at least the paycheck or
and
the
normally
bill.
most people sell a metal cover for about $100. I'm selling it for $75 and throwing in the regular 3 covers as well. So if you do want to collect that metal and just have it to the side, you have those 3 other covers right there for you.
Oh yeah, so you
But
don't need to go ahead and do anything about messing up that metal cover.
right,
No, don't want to fold it too many times.
right. And there was a particular reason that I chose Jeff's cover, that we wanted to make as a foil for one of these tiers, and for this metal tier. We're again choosing Jeff's cover, that B cover with that gargoyle in the front.
And why
Beautiful,
is that?
beautiful cover. Well, I might have some things in store for that beautiful Santa Spina's cover later on in the future.
Oh, gotcha. So you're
So
just saving a little bit on that. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, there's some things that you got to keep up your sleeve, being in the business world and trying to do a few things. This is giving you a taste of it, and of course, that Jeff's cover is beautiful and
Oh,
deserves
it is
the
a
foil.
gorgeous cover. Absolutely. I can absolutely see it right now in the foil or in the metal with now the metal is it do they print on top of the metal or is it uh um textured or bubbled?
Well, that's unique, and I've seen them, felt them, and I know what they are, and it's hard to explain. But I don't think they're really textured, but I don't think it's on top. So, because I know
Hmm.
there's like a glaze on top of it, and they're amazingly beautiful. I just signed a few of them for one of the store exclusives for PTSD. They did a black and white version of the
I
cover
might have
behind
to
me.
ask my printer to send me a sample. I want to look at one.
Yeah,
I want to play with
yeah,
it.
yeah. And again, depending on who you go with, I've seen them a little bit thicker and whatnot, and it might take a little longer. But the ones that I do are a little bit thinner. They're Again, they are metal and they're beautiful, and it's just something to see and hold in your hand
Hmm.
that you won't
I'm,
regret.
I'm, I'm gonna have to look into that. Definitely look into that one. Okay, drawn and sketched by Jeff Muth.
Yes, Jeff Mute. He's
Mute
the one that did the cover for with the gargoyle again.
with the
He,
gargoyle.
he's an amazing artist. He does some great sketches, and we're offering you an opportunity to get a sketch of a character of your choosing right there for $50. And of course, you're going to get his cover sent to you, as well as the PDF of Prelude to Aurora.
Hmm. Interesting. And Incredibly cool. An 8 by 11, so a nice little sketch. Look at that.
Yes. And again, it's going to
Nice.
be a character that you choose for him to draw, and he's going to get it
Retail
done.
tier. That's
Yeah.
actually smart. I need to go ahead and add one of those into my Kickstarter.
Yeah.
That
As a
I
matter of
may
fact,
or
I've done retail tiers in just about all my Kickstarters, and in the last two, I actually got a few people who purchased them, so we wanted to definitely do a retail tier. Uh, Most of the time, I threw all of my titles in there. This time, I'm just throwing PTSD and Cryptic Haze in there because, again, there might be other stuff that I decide to do in the future for retail, but I
so
wanted to make sure to throw this book in a retail tier right now.
okay, so you're also selling ad space in the book. You get an entire page for $150.
Yeah, now I'd love to talk more about this, but unfortunately, they've both been bought.
Oh no, yes, that is
Yeah.
why they're grayed out and gone. That would probably be so.
So I mean,
None of
it's
those are even
well,
available anymore.
the original is still available. That's a $600 original of Jeff Mute's cover,
Original
and
cover. Okay, limit one, and that okay, that's still there.
yeah, you're gonna get that original cover of that cover B, which is Jeff Mute's cover. Amazingly beautiful work, and it's gonna be the original. It's a one of one. It'll never be made again or anything like that because it was what was used to process it. That's it. One of one original cover.
And meet and greet. How many of those have you sold?
Now I haven't sold any of these just yet, but I have thrown them on all my Kickstarters, and let me explain why.
Okay.
Uh, Whenever I started studying Kickstarters and whatnot, they always said to put something big up there. If you had an investor who just wanted to invest in you, put something up there to give them that option. And that's really what the meet and greet was. I was like, what can I give them of value? Now, I don't exactly think $600 is uh, I'm not worth
Yeah.
$600 to go meet you, but again, it is going to
Well,
take
it all
money
depends on
for me
how
to
far I'm
travel.
asking you to travel.
Right.
I can
Right.
I can kind of see it right there.
Yeah. And I'm
If
going to bring, one copy of every one of my books. I'm going to sign it in front of you. I'm going to keep myself available for you to talk to about either the process. If you have a project, I can give you
so
advice.
everybody listening over in Europe, just so you're aware, it's only
Continental
six
US.
hundred dollars.
Continental US has got it on there. Yeah, that's
Uh,
actually something that I was asked on one of the previous ones. Yes, it's got to be the
oh,
Continental
really?
US. Yes.
So gotcha, yeah. So the continental U.S. means you'll go all the way up to nowhere, Florida, and everywhere, Washington.
Yes. Yeah. I
Hmm.
would love to go to either one of those places. And like I tell
That would
people,
be a fun way to travel.
yeah. I will meet up either at a restaurant or hopefully at your local comic book store. I'll bring, like I said, a copy of each of my comics, and I'm going to also offer a script of my next comic, which is coming out. It's called Dracula's Descendants. Now,
Ooh.
I want to talk a little bit about this one because
Oh,
me being
please.
an independent, creator, and being these are my first 5 books that I've just made in the past year and a few months. I just got picked up by a publisher.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And the title that we got picked up for is called Dracula's Descendants. It's going to be out in stores October 30th, and we're gearing up and putting it in previews. We got our last pages done, so I got to see the whole thing just a few days ago, and everything got sent to
Nice.
the publisher to get approved. And like I said, August it's going to be in stores from coast to coast,
Now,
and you're
what
going
can
to
you
get that
tell
for
us
sure.
about Dracula's descendants?
Well, I can tell you this: it's definitely something unique because, like I
Does it
said,
have anything to do with Dracula?
it does.
Oh,
The
okay.
premise is basically this: Dracula meets Game of Thrones. What would happen
Interesting.
if
The Red
Dracula?
Wedding.
What?
The,
Yeah,
the, the Red Wedding. Yeah, that's what would happen. It just, yeah.
yeah. But I mean, if Dracula was no more, who would take his power? Maybe one of
Hmm.
his descendants. Who are his descendants?
Maybe.
We're going to introduce you to about 6 factions who are going to be vying for his power in a unique way that we're going to talk about his backstory a little bit. We're going to talk about them, and we're going to talk about the future that it beholds. I kind of say
Interesting.
it's like, you know, uh,
So
let
each
loose the
one of his
dog.
children's have their own little faction or their own little
Kind of,
clan,
sort
as
of,
you would
yeah.
say.
Yeah, again,
Interesting.
I can't talk too
Not
much
too
about it,
much.
but
I got you. I
that's
got
just
you.
around. Yeah,
Publishers, gag orders, lawyers, and big contract thingies, and papers and reasons. Gotcha.
and if you love the cover art by Jeff Muth on my book Prelude to Aurora, he's gonna not only be the cover artist for this next book, but he is the interior artist for it.
Ooh, so he's doing the interior art for it as well, and that's Dracula's Descendants coming. What this
Yeah,
August? You said.
August 30th. It should be hitting bookstores. We're, like I said, gearing in to go into previews right now. So it should be in previews in June, and by August it should be in stores already.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so let's go ahead and throw this back up on the screen here. So which button? Who's got the button? I got the button. There it is. Let's go ahead and once again, let's put a face to a name, and let's go ahead and introduce your team to us if you don't mind. Who is this bald guy over here on the left? I don't recognize him.
Yeah, right. I'm Paul Gomez. I'm the writer and creator. I'm trying to get into the comic industry, if you will, and that's who I am.
Okay, and then the next guy we got with the long, luscious hair over here, Fabio.
That's right. Mr. Aquaman himself is the machine, San Espina. This is the man.
Oh, so he also cranks out a page a day, and he looks like that. He doesn't have time to go to the gym. Are you kidding me?
It's not fair. It's just not.
Some people are just bored with all the genes, I tell you.
I'm telling you, I don't understand where he has the time to do his art, because if I was like that, I would be on the beach going,
just in the wind.
Talking about sexy beach right there, I got my editor Chuck Panay. He is amazing. He's a great guy to talk to, and he gives me hints and clues. He's the one that keeps me from going off rail in my scripts and kind of makes sure that I don't have double words, which happens a lot.
Oops.
I am a little dyslexic, but
well, that and it's not like the English language has a clear set of rules,
And these are the two unsung heroes I honestly think in the comic book world is my editor and my letterer, which is also my designer, McLean McGuire. He's like one of my best friends, and he's been a close advisor to me in just about every one of my books. So,
and that's that magician that puts those letters on the page to allow us to not only feel the images, but also understand what the hell we just looked at and why there was a bunch of ink thrown on a page somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are part of your crew as well?
Yes, this is an assistant editor right here, Elisa and Brian Delgado. Now, again, with having dyslexic, I really make sure that I had an editor on every one of my books. On this one was an extra special kind of thing. I've told people this 100 times. This is probably my best script ever. If you've read any of my books, and if you loved them, I promise you, I guarantee you that you are going to love this story even more. And I like I said, I wanted to make sure to bring a few extra editor eyes in to make sure it read right and looked correct. And Elisa and Brian were amazing helping out.
And of course, Zach is going to be the one supplying the Deluxe cover that you've got coming up.
Exactly.
Yes,
Zach is a great friend.
There is the other cover artist,
and he's going to be the interior for my next book. And me and him collaborated on that. We're both the ones that created that book, but on this one, he is the cover artist. He's an advisor, and he's been one of my biggest fans. So I can't say enough about Jeff.
And he's the one that's going to be giving you the prequel to the barbecue vampire book.
Yes. Exactly.
Have you heard about that one? I'm trying to think of the name of it. It slipped my mind. It was on the tip of my tongue. Redneck.
Is it
Redneck and Moonshine.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember specifically, but I know what you're talking about.
It's been a couple of years, and that's two comic books, and they ran in parallel with each other, and it was a group of werewolves that ran a moonshine ring, and then it was a bunch of vampires that ran a barbecue joint. And they were in the same town and really didn't get along with each other, and each issue was told from the perspective of that clan. It was a ball to read. I actually don't know what happened to that. I need to get back into that one. But yeah, that was something that was interesting enough. But yes, sorry, there was my bouncy ball. It bounced away. It was shiny. Okay, so shipping, UPS and
United States Postal Service.
And are
in
you
general.
just US or are you going worldwide
You know,
on your
I'm just
shipping?
going US at the moment. I'm actually affiliated with ASAP Comics, and I'm not sure if they're going to carry this book. I've actually had interest from a publisher for this book again. I don't know what's going to go on with it afterwards.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna pause you right there. You've mentioned publisher twice, and we've only got like 5 to 7 minutes left here. So you're gonna have to go ahead and give me something because we had a little bit of pregame here, and you understand that I'm a creator too. The hell you talk about publisher, publisher? Is it the same publisher?
Okay, so ASAP Imagination is actually carrying my first three books right at the moment. Four books. They're carrying PTSD and Cryptic Haze. They're also carrying the first two issues of Bushibu Circus Mysteries, and they're a new publisher, kind of overseas. So I'm hoping to get Prelude to Aurora in with them, because then I would have an easier way to distribute it, not only in Canada where their editor in chief is, but in the UK where they're based out. I'm not sure if Prelude to Aurora is going to go to them because I do have some interest with another publisher, which is the one that's carrying Dracula's Descent. That's Blood Moon Comics.
Ah,
And they've been asking about it, and I don't know what's going to happen after the Kickstarter. This book again is
using the Kickstarter maybe as a feasibility study just to kind of see where it can go and how hard you can kick it.
exactly. I might just keep it for myself and not have it with the publisher because I might want to do some unique things with it as well. So I don't know where it's going to be after the Kickstarter. So make sure you get it off Kickstarter today.
Yes, because it might be not available on Kickstarter, and you've got to go down to the comic book store or something else to go get it.
Yeah, you never know.
Okay, so your promo is 1 minute long. Let's do a reboot. It is just a few minutes before we have to get off on it. So if you don't mind, let's go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage and see if we
Yeah.
can't let everybody see what this promo is. Oh, I can't click that button. Let's click it here. Absolutely beautiful. That was wonderful. Look at that cover and look at a wonderful artist. Wonderful artist. So, what else can you go ahead and tell us that now? I do have to know, do they turn to stone when the sun comes out?
Yeah, I will tell you that night and day do have a part in this story, and that's one thing. Again, I
It
wanted to
kind of
do
have to with
something unique.
gargoyles, doesn't it?
Does it? I mean, what do you really know about
Well,
gargoyles?
Disney gave us all the rules to gargoyles, didn't they?
They gave us the rules to their gargoyle world, but like I said, there's not that many gargoyle stories out there.
There's
So
not. So I love to see the different
what rules?
renditions and how many
Yeah,
people can bend and create our own little rule set.
yes, but there does have a reasoning for the night and day that certain people kind of have to adhere to. So that's part of the story as well, and I love dealing with that aspect. If you could,
Well, that sounds like it's incredible. So if everybody watching would like to go ahead and yep, not prepared. Would like to go ahead and jump onto Kickstarter and go see Prelude to Aurora. He is
yes,
like inches
right
away from
there,
being funded, and he still has a month to go. So he is doing incredible. He has got five. This is what your fifth campaign, you said, right?
yes.
His fifth campaign. This is Prelude to Aurora. Back it now, and let's help him get over that finish line, folks. Yep,
Let's back
$81
it.
from funded.
Yeah, let's back it. Get it to goals because I have some amazing stretch goals that I want to show you people, but I can't do that until I get this goal met. Those stretch goals are going to be amazing. I can't wait for y'all to see them.
That is wonderful. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Paul, for coming on and
Thank
hanging
you.
out with us tonight. Pops, you've got right at 5 minutes left if you want to go ahead and start running some ads, and we'll get ready for the next show. You still here, Pops? Maybe? We'll fill time until he gets back. I'm sure he heard us. He's probably just.
That's right.
So when can we expect issue number 2 of Prelude to Aurora?
Well, it really depends on how soon this gets funded and
Have
how
you
we
scripted it yet?
I've wrote the outlines. Whenever everything came in for Dracula's Descent, it was kind of a surprise, so I'm scripting that one.
Hey, Pops.
I'm here. I'm ready.
You ready? Well, welcome welcome. Goodbye, everyone. This is Paul with Prelude to Aurora, and it's all good. We're gonna go ahead and hand it on to the next show now. Thanks, Pops.
Peace.
How do you end this thing? How do you put there was the brakes on this bus? I forgot.
Jazz hands and brakes.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month,